Outside the Hall of Justice in downtown L.A., attorney Nathan Hochman, a leading candidate for L.A. County District Attorney, called on current DA George Gascón to fire his new chief of staff, Tiffiny Blacknell.
Blacknell has been an outspoken supporter of defunding the police, and Hochman called her appointment a, quote, slap in the face of law enforcement. All this just 2 days before Hochman, Gascon, and 8 other candidates are set to face off in a debate for that DA position.
That debate, hosted by Los Angeles Magazine, will be co-moderated by Alex and LA Magazine's John Rigardi. John joins us now. John, Happy New Year. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Let's start with who is Tiffiny Blacknell and what has she said in the past?
Tiffiny Blacknell is a longtime supporter of George Gascón, and she was the head of his communications team. She was recently appointed to be his chief of staff, but there have been many people who've been critical of her. She has, in social media posts, taken some very anti-LAPD stances. She called the police barbarians. As the scene shows, she has worn a t-shirt that says the police are trained to kill us. So there have been a lot of criticisms of her from those opposed to George Gascón.
And Nathan Hochman saying that she should resign and saying we shouldn't have somebody who believes that running the top prosecutor's office in L.A. This is likely something that may come up when we're doing this debate on Thursday night, John. It's a real challenge, though, for all of these folks to separate themselves. There'll be 9 people on the stage alone. How do they separate themselves?
You know, it's going to be interesting. You're right, Alex. I mean, we will certainly hear them all attacking George Gascón, but the individuals do have different backgrounds. They're all very accomplished, and they sort of almost break down in a few different sectors. We have 4 of them who actually work for the district attorney's office now. They will be talking about how they could do the job better than their boss. We have a couple people who are judges or previous judges have retired. They're going to talk about what they've seen from the bench and how they think prosecutorial elements should be handled. There's a couple former federal prosecutors as well, people who've prosecuted some of the biggest crimes in the country. So everyone's going to try to tout their own experience and detail their own policies and what they would bring to the table in this incredibly important job.
You know, I watched that forum that we were just showing that took place a couple months ago in Santa Monica. So many voices to your point, to both of your point, including Gascon's, yet it was relatively civil. I mean, by and large, it was civil, even though Gascon was there on stage, and you see the attacks, you hear the attacks here on our program even. How are you going to corral this big of a group and keep it that way, or do you want it to not be so civil, maybe?
Well, I do think the gloves are going to come off. I attended another debate over the weekend, and there were a lot of attacks levied. And they are important to hear, in part because we need to hear criticisms of not just George Gascón, but of everyone. This is so important, and people need to understand. And what I think is going to be great is this is going to give voters really a first-hand look at these different candidates. They're going to get to make an informed choice. Alex and I are going to do our best to keep people on track, keep it as positive as possible, but also, again, just get out the ideas so that voters will know about their choice.
Well, whether you like George Gascón or you don't like George Gascón, what we've learned in the last few years is how important the job of L.A. County District Attorney is. And a lot of people voted last time and maybe didn't know that much about what they were voting for. And so we hope at the end of this you'll be able to make a more informed decision. It's going to be on lamag.com, streaming at lamag.com at 6 o'clock on Thursday. Probably going to go for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. They'll all be getting a chance to speak, and hopefully you get a chance to get to know who these folks are. I think there's going to be some fireworks, so I hope you all watch that live, and we'll also be reporting on it extensively here on Fox 11.